What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me Kaz at Level, bringing you another Infinite Magicraid updated legend tier list. Now bear in mind this is with free exclusives, okay? So when they're fully upgraded, this is where you can kind of expect to see your hero graded. Obviously remember this is all opinion based. You can take, assurances that I have had the help of ACOS Global and also BJ Skiller, who is a Kraken. People who have tested many heroes. I have tested many heroes. You can see from all my videos that I do have experience in the game. So I'm hoping you can take my knowledge for this. Now bear in mind, in each bracket, they are in no way in any order. Say, like, Emilik is not worse than Ariel, for instance. They're in random order inside the brackets. Obviously, each bracket means that the heroes are better than the one previous. So I hope that kind of makes sense. And for some reason, it's looking very grayed out. And I don't know why. I have tried to mess around with it with no success. So it's just very dark. I'm hoping you can kind of relate to it. Let's have a little discussion about some of the heroes. It is with all the legend heroes now. Some of you was asking for like Claude. Sorry. Claude. Albeck is in here now. Thanatos is in here. Quinlan, Little Jack, Elsa, Hertha, Tuck. Yes, he is a god. So, we now have all the legends. If they're grayed out, it's because I don't currently own them. I wish I did. I wish I owned Quinlan. That would be nice. It would be nice to own a Quinlan. I mean, I could do Blue Mark Tower. But let's have a little discussion about the heroes. We're not going to go into every single one, but then again, you know what I'm like. I do get a little bit carried away, so potentially we do go into more of them than we should. You can go back to say my ultimate legend tier list where we spoke about every single hero. It's all chaptered, and you can hear my point of view on those. But we're going to kind of go through the ones I feel like need a discussion about them to say why they are where they are. So, we're not going to be talking about the A bracket here. However, the Shoulder I do think possibly could be okay. I need to do more testing on him. A+, everyone here is useful in certain areas of the game. They are more niche characters. They are, we can't use them in like total progression, big parts of the game. Some of them are very good in Faction Abyss, Tower of Mark as well. They can be useful. So by no means are they no good. They are still good. And we have to use what we've got sometimes. So bear that in mind as well. S tier is where the heroes start to get very useful in a majority of the game. And then S+ is like, they're very good everywhere. God is God. So it's like, wow, these are just awesome heroes. So who did we put? I don't think anything has changed in the update from A+. I don't think any of these heroes have changed. I think it's still the same as my last tier list. And I'm comfortable with this, Garena is good, yeah, but she's not, we have better heroes in Force Mark to be using. She's not massively used in, say, Tower. She can be helpful in Faction Abyss. She could be helpful in campaign, but the fact is we have better heroes. But if Garena is your option, then you're stuck with using her, and she will do the job, just not as good as some of the others. That's why she's listed lower. I know that may hurt some people. I understand, and I'm sorry, but I'm trying not to be biased. I do have her at E4, I think, but she is where she is. Anna needs a rework still. Jennifer doesn't quite push that AoE that we need her to. Ile is very niche. Zach Zulu, unfortunately, still needs a rework as well. I would like to see this done. So he's dealing more damage. Malik can be used, but he's a niche. He can be very helpful in Faction Abyss. You will never use him in the likes of Tower. And he just doesn't do quite enough from where he should. Ariel can deal some nice damage, but compared to some of the other single target damage dealers, she's way off the mark of that. She can be helpful in Advanced Arena, but you won't end up using her in many places. Frick, I still need to do more investigating on him. He is a very defensive hero, but you're not going to use him in Green Mark Tower. You're not going to really use him in campaign. I feel like he's a PvP hero. Taru only becomes good with E3. But Taru is not really like amazing in many areas. Again, he's a very selfish kind of hero. Gramdy can be useful, but again, he is an A+. I do like Gramdy. His freeze ability, he's good for Faction Abyss. But as it goes to Red Mark Tower, we're not really going to use Gramdy. And in other places, you know, we just have better options. Carried can, however, be used in Red Mark Tower. Outside of that, though, there's not much use for him. Faction Abyss, possibly. But campaign, dungeons, that kind of thing, he's not going to be used. Valentine doesn't do enough damage. I know we can decrease the turn meter on some of the heroes, but he's just not got enough dedicated damage. Naskama is a really cool hero, very, very good for PvP. And remember, this is a PvE tier list. He can horrify some of the stages. He has a shield strip for tower. But, campaign, we're not going to use him. Dungeons, we're not going to use him. The only place we're going to use him again is, say, Tower of Mark and Faction Abyss. Olga, unfortunately, needs a rework. Her joint attack needs to be higher. Sinton doesn't really do much, especially PvE. He's more PvP. Solly, I know some people like him for PvE. And potentially, he deserves to be in S, okay? Potentially. But until I'm proven right on that fact, he stays in A+. He stays in A+ for now. Okay, moving up to S tier. And Claude is a very good PvE AoE damage dealer. He definitely deserves to be on the same tier as Margarita and Serena. He can deal some very nice damage, and I'm glad to introduce him now into the tier list. So Claude is a very cool hero. He can do a lot of damage. And not only is he good for PvE, he's also very good for PvP. Claude can be used, especially for progression in campaign. He will be used in Faction Abyss a lot. Maybe not dungeons. And I doubt you really need him in Green Mark Tower, because we have the likes of Hizonia and now Crayon, the epic Green Mark, for health burn. So, possibly you will use him earlier on. But for the late stages in Tower, I don't think he's going to be there. Aisha, again, will stay in S. Alahan stays in S. Melina stays in S. She's just too hard to gear. Horus is definitely S as well. He is pretty cool, but he's not like going to carry you through content. We need others to deal damage so that he can pop in and do some damage as well. Thanatos will be in S. He does hold some pretty cool skills. He is stealthed the whole time. He can do some, nice for healing negation effects. And also shield breaking. So this is why he's also in S. He is a cool hero. He could possibly be used in Red Mark Tower to remove the shield. But, we're not going to use him in the likes of Dungeon. I guess he could be used in some of the campaign, but not hugely. He can hit very hard, but he's also very good in PvP. So that's something to add. Now, the new hero, Albec. Albec is, okay, now I know he's listed a bit lower, and he is such a cool hero, okay? But he is definitely more PvP based than PvE. He could be used in a stall team, for instance. But if you was to build Albec, you would really want to be using him with a HP team. Say, Albec, Lamb, Nordak, or Gru for the HP increase, or Tuck for the HP increase. The thing is that when we're limited on, say, for instance, in campaign, we're limited on amount of turns for stars. And Albec requires turns to build up his health. So, I feel like he's safely put in S. Let me know your thoughts on that one. If you've built Albec up to E3 150, how is he doing for you? Is he supposed to be situated in S? Do you feel like this is an accurate representation of him? So let me know on that one. Gunnar stays in S. Gru and Greta stay in S as well. Same as Sana, Timmy, Eric. And now I know Eric can be used, okay? And he is good, but on his own, he needs activators. The same reason why Focaz is in S plus and not God is because we require other heroes to activate them. So like you need a burn team for Eric. Margarita definitely stays in S. Her E1 is where she's higher, but once we get to E3, not a lot has changed. Very, very, very strong in PvP though. Mai deserves to be in S as well. She can be used a lot in Faction Abyss. She can also be very good in campaign early on if you have the exclusives, but it is exclusive free where she becomes very useful. Lamb is, it's late game gear again. Anything that is regarding health, the maximum health that we deal damage, without the likes of mastery, we do need really strong health gear. Vera doesn't quite do enough as a support. She is useful. She is a niche kind of hero. You're not going to use her in Red Mark Tower. You're going to use her in possibly Faction Abyss if you're suffering there. But it's that tribe is Dragon Tribe is stacked with a lot of heroes. There's not many supports. But she could be used early on in campaign. I'm probably not going to use her in dungeons. But she does deserve to be an S, just no higher than that. Serena is a great AoE damage dealer, especially on par with Margarita and Claude. So that's another good hero. Maeve. I was tempted to move Maeve up to S+, but then I thought, well, okay, when we consider the majority of content, we're not going to use her that much. However, she does pair amazingly with Space. Thanks to the speed, and Guhana, thanks to the speed down on the turns, and Elena as well. So, Maeve has a lot of uses, especially against bosses, because, she can slow down the enemy, and she can deal some pretty good damage as well. Slack, though, another one I was debating on S+. However, he is going to stay in S for now. I prefer him more in PvP content. Zyra as well can be useful in PvE for her crowd control, but she becomes better for PvP again. So, she's definitely situated in S here. Now, moving on up to S+, we have the likes of Slavel, who is just fantastic, buffing our attackers, meaning we can do more damage with bleed and poison. And our direct damage dealers as well, along with doing good damage and defense down. Taff is a very, very good support kind of attacker. He can cause intertwined on the enemies. He's also putting poisons all over them. Intertwined means they can get stunned. He's then cleansing as well, and causing deep poisoning on his basic. Now, Quinlan, the new hero, one that people are, hyping about. Does he deserve to be in God? No. Definitely deserves S+. Or I say definitely. It's a very close border. But I can't put him up on top because I feel like you need other health burn heroes with him. He doesn't do a job on his own. He is very, very good. I mean, he's definitely the answer to Blue Mark Tower, along with some other heroes to go with him. I feel like he is put in the right category here. Again, let me know if you don't agree with this rating on Quinlan. It is only my opinion, and BJ Skiller and Akos. Akos wanted me to put him into God, and BJ, who has him at E5, I believe, said no, he belongs in S+. So there was a little bit of a debate. I ended up putting him in S+. So yeah, that's where he is for now. But he is a very, very good health burner, and he's very good in PvP, by the way, as well. Little Jack, if he was lucky enough to get him to E3, definitely deserves to be an S+ with all his bombs. Hertha really requires exclusive 3 to be in this tier. Before that, she's not quite as good. She can stack a lot of bleed. She can do very good damage. So Hertha definitely deserves to be in here. She's very similar to the likes of Alina and Hisaro, with her bleeds. Elsa, another new hero. Now, this is a tough one for me to really guide you on. Because, she definitely requires E3. She does have some very cool skills. But she's definitely more PvP orientated, or at least I feel like she is. And I just can't put her any higher, but then I can't put her lower because she is a very good support for your team, but she's definitely not a god for PvE. S+, I feel like she's in a good situation there. I feel like she deserves to be there. Besmok will stay in S+. He is a crazy direct damage dealer with E3. Bari is a very good burn hero. He deserves to be in S+ as well. You will require to build around Bari, with other burn heroes, the likes of Eric, the Epic Feist. And, he is very good, but he's definitely not deserving God tier. S+ I feel is warranted for him. Another good hero for PvP. Dario is a great hero, especially if it's exclusive. You'll notice him pinging off nukes in places when enemies die. Definitely deserves to be S+. Guhana, another very good support. Can increase the attack, the speed, and speed down of the enemies. She does a good heal as well. So, Guhana is definitely deserving S+. Fiona is an AoE stun, revives one of our allies. She, she's also immune to CC, making her very, very good for PvP, but PvE, she's also very useful. So, don't shy out on your Fiona. She can be used in quite a bit of content. Mood 2 is a very strong single target damage dealer, definitely deserving S+. Not quite God, but he can deal very, very good damage, and he can also increase the attack of allies. Megan, definitely, once she becomes E3, is still situated in S+. She can nuke pretty hard. She can also debuff as well with an AoE debuff. It doesn't do much damage, but her ultimate is where it's at. Luz is so good at exclusive 3 as well, definitely deserving S+. Nice AoE damage, very self-sustaining hero as well with the leech. Turf is very, very good poison damage dealer once he gets to E3. He's good before that, but he always stays in S+ throughout his exclusives in comparison to the others. Self-sustaining, good damage, counter attack, shielding as well. Yoko is very strong. She can nuke a target. If she kills it, she'll jump onto the next and nuke 70% of the damage that she did before. So she can help you clear through waves, and she can do some good damage. Focaz, yes, Focaz is an amazing hero. He is definitely S+, potentially God. The reason he's not God is because without the likes of another God tier hero, he's just not going to do much for your team. He needs to activate someone. He needs to have someone to activate him. But he is a very good hero, and he can really help you with some speed runs as well. Nasil, yes, Nasil is still in S+. He definitely helps us freeze waves on a small cooldown. He can be used in Blue Mark Tower to a certain point. Faction Abyss is very good in. Campaign, he could be used in for crowd control as well, and the ally protection, don't forget too. So he's very good for pinpointing someone we want to freeze on his basic. He's also very good on his AoE freeze as well, so we're not taking damage. Natalie moves into S+, AoE bleed. You can go and see the video of Natalie performing, but she is definitely more of a wave killer than a boss killer. With E3 though, her increase into attack is very nice, and she can do some very good damage. She's a very fun hero to play around with. Walter is a very good poison damage dealer, AoE poisons, and then he does a decent amount of attack on the same too. So, Walter needs to be paired up with the likes of Turf, Taff, Wolsey, so he's a very good poison damage dealer. Hoff is just incredible. Hoff is used in a lot of content. He can be used through pretty much the whole game. Especially with the mark being put on the enemy, and once that enemy's killed, we then go again with that hero that killed them. So Hoff is very good, very, very useful. Feebleness down, defense down as well, and he's very, very strong. Hisaro is a very good boss nuker. We need the bleeds on them initially, and then we trigger those bleeds with his second ability. He also gains some heal. Hisaro is a very cool hero, and he can do a lot of damage. We've seen it in Guild Boss. The same as Nidrold, so these are very on par. Elena is a very good solo bleed hero. She can do very good bleed damage against bosses as well. Definitely deserves to be on the same tier as Natalie, Hisaro, and Nidrold. And Hertha, don't forget. So, we have a selection of some bleed heroes who are very good. Asindo, deserves to be S+ for PvE. She can really help with she does a decent amount of damage as well. She does a decent amount of damage, and she also causes a lot of CC. She's very fast, and she's always going to be going first. And she also gets that second attack after the initial AoE, which means that we can pinpoint a CC. Nidrold, again, we did just mention him, but he, his second ability means that he will trigger an AoE swipe, which can do a lot of damage, and that will go off how many bleeds are on the enemy. Also, he will drop down a lot of attacks, randomly striking bleed onto a lot of heroes. Boss damage, he can really, really push you on, especially Guild Boss. He's just very, very strong in that sense. Space, of course, stays in S+. She's just so good, and for a free hero, none of you should be missing out on her. She's always an S+ hero. And Space combined, with the speed down and turn manipulation, especially in campaign, is massive. Green Tower, she's massive. You must be using Space. PvE and PvP, she's very fast. She gets a turn meter increase at the beginning. She AoE turn meter increase for your allies, meaning you can get your attacks in before some enemies. So Space, I can't stress enough how good Space is. Definitely deserving S+. Moving on up to God tier, and yes, I know, one new entry up here. Well, two, I say Agatha. I mean, a lot of people are far, far away from it. I'm nowhere even E3 Agatha, but let me tell you, she can revive allies three times, between 3 turns. So she's looking very, very strong. Tuck is very good. He is definitely deserving a god. The fact that we can freeze the enemies and then we can freeze ourselves, and we can also. I know you say, well, why would you want to freeze yourself? Well, hang on a minute. There is a theory in the emblems. You can increase the size of the shield when some of us are under control effects. So we're increasing the strength of his shield again once we're triggering it after the extra turn, which is very, very nice. You know, he can also do a little bit of damage too when the enemy's frozen, so don't knock that even, you know, just for the ads. He's very good in PvE and PvP. He's also immune to freeze. He is definitely worth investing into if you need a shielder. He's going to be used in Blue Mark Tower massively. Faction Abyss he's used in too. He'd be very good for campaign as well, because, you know, if we think of Nasil with the freeze, well, hang on a minute, this is basically a Nasil who's got a shield as well. Elena is a fantastic support, especially if she's just incredible. Buff machine, buff stripping machine, speed down AoE. She will also, if she gets any negative effects on her basic attack, she'll throw it at someone else. It's just a truly amazing hero. Elena is so good. Agatha, again, just so much damage, shields galore. She can revive teammates as well at exclusive 3, and if you're lucky enough, if you're wailing enough to even get exclusive 2 of Agatha, you know, you're laughing. She's so good. Catherine, of course, she's in God tier. She is the supreme support of all of teams. Counterattack and shield, just so good. Feebleness as well. The cleanse that we get on our allies. Sigmund definitely granting a lot of use to teams, especially at exclusive level 3. The AoE health burn, the shield for our allies, the counter-attack times 2 when paired with Catherine. He can bring so much quality to your team. Alec as well, an amazing legend hero at E3. Good shield, effect resistance, defense up, taking debuffs from one of our allies. You know, there's so much to him, even stun on his basic attack. He's very strong, PvE and PvP. Hazonia, I don't really need to even introduce Hazonia, how good this little dude is. The fact that we can, you know, throw health burns on the enemy and then trigger those with his ultimate as well, doing crazy damage. Always make Hazonia slower than your other health burn heroes, because just watch them explode. His basic, where he just puts 3 health burns on the enemy as well. Very strong hero. Zia is a very strong direct damage dealer in the game, quite arguably the best. Well, she is in God, so definitely is the best direct damage dealer in the game, other than a mythic. Alright, don't shoot me yet. You know, we're on about Lucifer. She'll squat down, she increases her crit damage and crit rate. She also increases piercing rate, so, you know, can do some AoE damage too. She's very useful. Campaign, dungeons, faction abyss, Tower of Mark, so don't miss out on your Zia. Obviously is very good in PvP. Orkmin is a super good Doom Legion hero. Deals health burn and burn. So don't forget as well, he has the trigger reset of resetting all damage over times on the enemy, whether it's poison, bleed, burn, health burn. He will reset the duration, making him very supportive in around that. The same as Taff can reset the durations as well with exclusives. But he is on his basic attack as well, doing 3 hits of health burn to random enemies. So that too is very good. He does support a lot of heroes, and he's very self-sustaining. And obviously, Milia the Valkyrie. We're not going to call her a god, we're going to call her a Valkyrie. She is, you know, AoE health burn when igniting her Valkyrie status, then pinpointing health burn attacks with her second ability. She can just stack them so good. She is like this solo health burner of everyone. She doesn't require other health burners to really initiate that boss nuking kind of damage. So I hope you all kind of agree with this tier list. Not quite the hour that we're used to, guys. Only a 24-minute video this time. I'm getting better. And did you notice I didn't... Oh, jeez. This broke something. Didn't even need to... I read all that off by heart. I'm getting so used to all the heroes in the game now. You know, it's really nice after creating content for so long. We're just getting... It's like just sucking it all in. So, you know, I hope you agree with this tier list. If you don't agree with some of them, please do let me know in the comments below, and leave it constructive. Let me know why you think that hero should be rated higher or even lower if you don't think that they deserve to be in the bracket I placed them. However, I am very confident in this, and I've had the input of others as well to know if this was accurate, and you know, we're happy with it, and that's the main thing. Remember, never ever feed legends because they can be repatched. And last but not least, I want to thank you all for watching another video of mine. I know it's another tier list, and I will update the legend tier list without exclusives as well, for those of you being like, well, I don't have anyone at E3, I need to know if they're good now, without exclusives. So expect to see that one updated in a few days. You can also expect to see a PvP tier list updated too, because that is needed. You know, haven't updated that for a long time, so that will be updated too. So last, I'm going to say last but not least again, I've already said that. What the hell's going on? Now I am making it a long video, but thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you click like, subscribe and comment below to help this channel grow. Take care, have a great day or evening wherever you are.